What's going on? This is Luke, and I'm on here. Get to share my screen, and we are going to be looking over the plan, the graduate program at New Orleans Baptist, Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Here they would have multiple. It is in New Orleans, Louisiana, very southern part of the state. They have a undergrad, uh, Lethal College is what it is. Yeah. Um, Move this so I can bring it over here. I'm gonna go to academics. I'm gonna go to the master's degree. They do have PhDs and something called a D-Min, as a doctorate in ministry. Would be The PhDs are usually more academic side of that. And the doctorate ministry would be more like application side. So it kind of depends on what you want to do. But they have a lot of different kinds of MDivs. So these are Masters of Divinity. And so usually it used to just be um, one MDiv, right? But now there is a lot of kind of extra ones. So what would happen is you would have about 60 hours general Master's Divinity course, kind of going through Old Testament, New Testament, and then application stuff. So what is Christian theology? What does that look like? How do we rightly divide the word of truth, as Paul would say in First Timothy? Um, how do we lead people to the Lord, and then lead them in a wise life? And so that would look like how to do biblical counseling, how to counsel in a way that Scripture supports, and how to lead people to like wise and long marriages, what the family looks like, how to walk in obedience, and what the Lord has come calling them to. But recently, and especially this is why I want to look at this in New Orleans. There's a, and all of them would have this to a certain degree, but they're in the Master's Divinity, so it used to just be the one. Southeastern has a good set, but there are all these different kinds. You have your just regular Christian ministry. You can go down to there's a linguistics area of it. Just kind of through this biblical languages would be Hebrew, Koine Greek, and Aramaic. Jesus would have spoken Aramaic. Um, he would have been fluent and proficient in all three, but as most people at the time were, right? And so then you would have like chaplaincy, Christian apologetics would be one I'd be very interested in. Collegiate ministry would be cool because I'm kind of doing some of that right now. Um, and then missions would be a cool one for me. That's kind of what my heart in this is. So then when you click on that, it takes you to your application. And so here you would have to enter all of your academic plans according to what you're wanting to do and come through your personal information. I think in the thing it said we had to have four letters of recommendation. Um, there is an application fee. No GRE is required. The only GRE I saw was a TEFL test if English was not your native language. Um, but the reason that it's four letters of rec is this: it's asking about different things. Let's go to recommendations. You have to have two references from people. And each one has to be a pastor reference, and the other has to be a character rec of your choice. But with these, you also have to have. Oh wait, no, this was New Orleans. This one we only had to have two. Okay, well, most of them will also have you include a. So you have your church reference. You also have let you include a church reference and then an out of church reference. So like a professor. Uh, so like for me, that would be a Dr. Escamilla or like a Dr. Fiorini or Dr. Burley. I would message them and ask if they could write me a rec and just in a source outside of this. Um, but yeah, that's and why I would choose this, and this is why I've chosen to do linguistics. It's very interesting. It's a subject I enjoy studying. I'll tell you the number one reason is, man, that's the gospel of Jesus Christ has changed my life. There is not an ancient document with more or ancient recorded event that has more validity and historical evidence to support it than the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And here's the thing about that. If the resurrection is true, if what happened on Easter morning, because the body's gone, all right? And all, so why would, if it was a lie, why would 11 guys go to brutal, horrific deaths? The one that got off the easiest got boiled alive in oil and then was sent to be a slave on the rock island of Patmos in the Mediterranean Sea. Why would they do that? Why would someone writing a story choose to use women as the main people who gave account of to being seeing him first? Their testimonies wouldn't hold up in court in these days. So why would they do that? Why couldn't the Jewish leaders at the time provide a body? Has always been big for me as well. Well, if they're lying, we'll just find his body. It's 11 fishermen and tax collectors. And then I know they can't take them that far. How would they have gotten around the Roman guard, who was the greatest military force the world had ever seen, even greater than Alexander's Greece? It is it just is wild. And then these stories of Jesus are more attested to in the historical aspect than the existence of Alexander the Great, that he existed. Not only um, most ancient documents are you're able to agree, people are cool with them being fine as long as they're written within 500 years, as that we get that from Alexander the Great, actually. Um, the longest one that is recognized by Christians from Jesus was around 70 years. It would have been the Gospel of John and the Book of Revelation. John would have written in his 90s. Um, and so that's Jesus ascended back into heaven 80 around 80 30 33. And then John would have been alive during that time, maybe a little bit younger than Jesus, and would have lived till around close to circa 180. Um, and it says it is more historically backed. And so, men believing it, if what happened with Jesus on the cross is true, then it is so worth devoting your whole life to. And this is what I truly believe. He has changed my heart in this. I came to school to be a pediatric oncologist, would have been a great career, would have been a great thing to do, would have been great time spent serving the people. But I've been called to something different. And that's why I'm studying this, but that is why I would pursue language or missions at a seminary instead of necessarily moving towards a larger linguistics degree, although I'm not opposed to that. That is growing on me an interest. That would be a necessity base. This is if I do end up in a grad school, that is why I would do this, because Jesus has changed so much in my life. And I believe fervently what happened on that first Easter morning was that he rose from the grave. And because of that, it is worth giving every bit of our lives to him. I do not know how Zoom works, so I cannot. Oh, stop share. All right. It's been a pleasure.